never comment on how much it was. We have a sale, and it's a good deal for everybody.
You're going to lease the bank?
Yeah, we're going to lease back property. Yeah.
The same property you're in now?
Yes. Yeah.
Tell me a little more about the building. Square footage, how many stories?
I think it's 6 stories. It's about 50,000 square feet. It's been around since 1923. It's a hallmark on the square. If you've seen it, we're going to still have our branch there, and we're not going to get into the. We're not going to make screens, and they're not going to get into banking. So we're not going to have any competitive issues at all. It's a very nice building. And as you know, we've been in Madison since, as if you heard, it was 1853.
Has anybody been paid to renovate the building for their uses yet?
No.
When did they officially move in?
I can't tell you that. I don't know exactly.
Do you have confidence that, they have a bunch of buildings around the state that are mostly empty? They're like Potemkin villages. Are you confident they're going to actually put people in there and have things happening there?
Yes.
Why?
Because I think they will. And there will always be people in there because we're going to be in there as well. Yeah. They wouldn't do this if they didn't have a plan, and I'm confident that they do.
What are on those floors now?
We have our retail business, our commercial business, our wealth business. We have our small business banking. So we have a big chunk of that space.
Are they moving out there? Or where are they going to go?
No, we're going to stay. We're going to stay.
So how many floors will Foxconn?
I don't know exactly how many they're going to be. I don't know. I actually don't know.
Who's going to be working at this building? Like job titles, what will they do?
From the bank standpoint?
No, from Foxconn.
Well, then you have to ask Foxconn that. Yeah, I'm with BMO.
So how many employees do you have there now?
We have roughly 100, and we'll have 100 there afterwards.
And how many floors are you in now?
We have the whole building. We have the whole building. And we'll have to move things around a little bit. I'm sorry. So
you don't know how many floors BMO will be occupied?
I don't know that everything's been negotiated yet, so I couldn't tell you that. Yeah.
Has the sale gone through?
No, not yet. It's imminent. Okay? You good? You bet. Thanks.
We are still on the planning stage at this point. I think we'll know more hopefully within the next couple of months. As to when we're going to move into the building, I think we're looking at Q3 or Q4. I think BMO has been very, very supportive, but they do have operations and personnel in there, so we're working closely with them on that.
How much does it cost to move into this building?
At this point, we are not in a position to disclose that. I'm sure you'll find out in due course.
Is there a lot of work to be done to renovate this building to get in there for you guys?
I think the building has been well kept, and we are extremely pleased with the condition. Of course, there will be different additions and improvement that we're going to do that will be commensurate with what a innovation center and also a co-working space would work for. As many of you know that the new generation of workplaces actually call for different settings, furnishing, and facilities, and we'll bring in some of the video conferencing and communication capability that will be also standard across many of our innovation center and Foxconn Place.
How many employees will work in this building, and will you be hiring anyone in the Madison area?
We do have employees who are based here in Madison area, Middleton, elsewhere. So some of those will actually move back here. Our goal really is to hire more Foxconn employees to work with our partners and also suppliers, but most importantly with researchers, with faculty members and staff. That's actually part of the bigger picture for Foxconn Institute for Research in Science and Technology, what we call FIRST. And this is the commitment that we made, I think August last year, to have an off-campus location so that we can actually engage in research, outreach, and also education work, cutting across many engineering departments, but also going into College of Letter and Science, along with other college and schools in UW-Madison.
There was a pretty harsh article in The Verge, which you probably saw, about how the reporter went around to the various buildings, found them empty. You know, he didn't say Potemkin Village, but that's kind of what it sounded like. What assurance are you going to give people that these buildings are actually going to fill? What sort of progress are you making in Racine, in Green Bay, and in Eau Claire? We basically have empty facilities in many of them.
Well, that article has a lot of inaccuracies, and we will actually make a correction and make a statement about that. But I appreciate you worrying about these empty buildings. I can assure you they are not empty. But we also don't want people to climb up on trees and look over to make sure that we have occupancy. We don't actually make an effort to acquire buildings to leave them empty. We do have a plan. We actually would make sure that the buildings are adequate and well equipped before we move people in. And also with the scale that we have, now you mentioned earlier, with Eau Claire, Green Bay, Racine, and Madison, we have the scale in terms of a network, along with Mount Pleasant, the park, and also a headquarters in Milwaukee. So you will see a lot more coming in the next few months, in the next year or so. I can assure you it would not be empty, and they are not empty right now.
And what about the Mount Pleasant? What are the next steps in Mount Pleasant? What will we see in the next 3 to 6 months?
Well, I think we have announced that previously construction work will start very shortly, and we're looking to have production and operation up and running toward Q4 2020. So that plan has not changed. We're on track on that. So you see some bid packages come out in the first week of April, basically on the grounds and the infrastructure. New bid packages will come out in May. Those will be related to the first production buildings besides the one that we put together last year, which was the multi-purpose building. So just wait for a couple of weeks. I think there will be more we will unveil.
So how many
When will you
people do
move
you
into
envision?
this building, the BMO building?
I'm sorry?
When will you move into this building in Madison?
We're looking at Q3 or Q4 this year, yes.
And how many people do you think will be working out of the Madison?
Well, I think the size of the building is going to allow us to bring in a number of our employees, but also visitors. I think the number of Foxconn employees is going to depend on how much we can engage the faculty, staff, and students from UW-Madison, and also other partners that we may work with. There are technical colleges here as well, and there are also other entrepreneurs and startup companies that we would actually work with, just like our plan in Eau Claire, in Green Bay, and also in Racine, along with Milwaukee.
So you don't have an answer.
Well, the numbers are not finalized yet, but I think we have a good feel that it's going to be a sizable number, but I think we'll have more to share in due course.
And
You
one
said
more.
You said 2020 was your deadline. Is that for all the buildings that are now what people say are empty?
No, the 2020 target is for the Wisconsin Valley Science and Technology Park. I think we have previously announced that the manufacturing location and manufacturing operation will be up and running. You'll see production commence in Q4 2020.
Just to clarify, the BMO Harris president said the sale is imminent, it hasn't closed. Is that correct?
We have signed the purchase sales agreement, and I think this deal will close. I'm very optimistic and confident that it will close. This is a partnership that we have been in contact and in conversation for quite some time. I think the terms are well documented and well agreed upon. We're going through the normal closing processes.
All right, guys, thank you so much. You guys all have a press release in your inboxes, also posted online at WisconsinEye.
Thank you.